All right, the second championship game will take us back to Kansas City. It'll be the Buffalo Bills visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. The big storyline all week from this one: Patrick Mahomes. Would he play? Would he not play? Well, Friday he announced that he's cleared the concussion protocol, so he'll be on the field, and that is to the benefit of us all because Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes sounds a lot better than Josh Allen versus Chad Henne. So we have that going for us. These two teams met a bit earlier this year, and the Chiefs won that one 26-17, highlighted by the running game, interestingly enough. And it looks like Clyde Edwards-Helaire is trending in the right direction as well. But with all that in mind, another great matchup as far as I'm concerned. Drink, what do you see in this one?
All right. For all my people out there, all my Josh Allen fans, let me tell you something. It's prime time, baby. Hey, Drink, what you talking about, man? Make some sense. Listen, for all these Josh Allen fans that say, Josh Allen is actually better than Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes has the better weapons. Okay, cool. And my pushback has always been, I got to see something with Josh Allen in the playoffs before I can give him that mantle. Here is the game. If the Buffalo Bills go into Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes as the starting quarterback, and they get the dub in Kansas City, then only then will I open my eyes up and say Josh Allen might just be as good as every other quarterback. But until I see a significant win on that level, I'm tired of people comparing him to Patrick Mahomes. Because here's what we done seen out of Patrick Mahomes. Do he have an elite group of talent? Yes. I get tired of people like they do this in college football all the time. Oh, this guy can't be good because he got talent around him. How good could he really be? That the whole goal is to build a talented team. Since when was the goal to, hey, I want to get a quarterback and I don't want to build anything around him. I just I just want everybody else to suck because I want to see how good the quarterback is. That's not the goal. That's not the GM goal. Your GM, if he had his way or her way, it would be the 11 best players they got on their team. And I don't care if it's 11 straight Pro Bowlers, but I want the 11 best. So I don't understand that stigma. So Patrick Mahomes is not good because the Chiefs were smart enough as an organization to build the pieces around them. Well, as you can see right now with the Buffalo Bills, they seem to be doing the same damn thing around Josh Allen. You know, that wide receiver core ain't full of chumps. That's a reasonable wide receiver core. Me and you just were talking about Zach Moss and Singletary, Devin Singletary. That's a nice 1-2 punch. And don't get me started on the offensive line. We know how serious they are. So it seems as if, and I ain't even get started on the defense. So it seems as if the Bills are doing the same damn thing as Kansas City. So with that said, it is time for Josh Allen to show that if you give me time, I can deliver. I'm Amazon Prime. I can get it to you in 2 days. And if you know Bezos, I could probably get it to you in one day with one of these exclusive drones. Either way, give me some time, I'm going to deliver. And now he's going to play the guy that he's been compared to, in my opinion, the most, Patrick Mahomes. Now this is prime time. Once again, just like we talked about in the last matchup for the NFC, this is prime time. These these four quarterbacks that we're going to watch play Sunday are four of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You do not look at one of these quarterbacks and say, one thing is not like the other. How the hell did this sorry guy get here? We don't say that. We got respect for Josh Allen. We got respect for Patrick Mahomes. We got respect for Tom Brady. And we definitely got respect for Aaron Rodgers. These are four respected quarterbacks. Now, Josh Allen, what you gonna do? All right, enough about the quarterback. Um, let's talk about the rest of the team. First of all, I want to start with Kansas City defense because I think that group is very underrated. I think people don't give the Chief enough credit on the defense side because the offense is so electric. Tyrann Mathieu, the leader of that defense, has came in there and gave that defense a voice, a path, and you gotta respect it. Chris Jones, that defensive line, you gotta respect it, man. We have to respect what the Chiefs do on the defense side of the ball. It's no more the offense is carrying us through the season. It's no more the offense carrying us through the postseason. No, they're playing good ball on both sides of the ball. Now, why do I bring that up? Because they're gonna play the Bills again, and this is once again, like we said in NFC, this is not gonna be the same team that they met the first time. It's not. I feel like the Bills is gonna find a way to run the ball more because that seemed what if you ask me what was the biggest knock on them in the first matchup, the Bills can run the ball. If you look at it, the Bills can run the ball, and Stephon Diggs seemed to have been, not Stephon Diggs that game. I feel like that's going to be different. I feel like we're going to see a lot of, a lot of different things. And let make no mistake, Brian Daboll, after being passed over for that Chargers job, is going to whip out something because now he want to open some eyes. He want to know why he didn't get that job when he was the front runner and think he should have had that job. So now he got a point to prove as well. Let's not forget about the coaches out here in these streets. Because, you say, hey, Drew, you want to talk about the Bills offense coordinator? What about the Chiefs offense coordinator? Oh, he got something to prove too, and he been proving it for years. He got something to prove too. So that matchup is a great matchup right there. The two offensive coordinators out here trying to get that resume polished up. So maybe this time next year, their head coaches, or at least getting ready to sign the dotted line to be a head coach, something. So the great matchups right there. I love the offensive matchups. So when you put it that way, I guess you say the overall result of this game is going to come down to which defense get more stops. I know, very elementary, I know. But when you have two highly successful teams like this, that is what it comes down to. Will the Chiefs playing at home, will that make a big difference for the Bills? I don't know. I don't think it's a significant advantage like playing like Green Bay, getting Tampa Bay to Wisconsin, but I do think it's somewhat of an advantage. And so with all that said, let me backtrack. I know Patrick Mahomes playing in this game, but something tells me let's look at him. Let's watch him in those first couple of possessions. Let's make sure all the screws are in the right place and they screwed in, and he's ready to play. Because if he's back there with the deer in the headlights, we might have to see your boy old Henny come on, trot on in, Mr. Hero himself. Give me the red cape and see what he could do against this Buffalo Bills defense. But if you give me a healthy Patrick Mahomes, I gotta think that's a 38-point team. To be honest with you, 38-point team. But I do think the Bills is a 31-point team. So I see the line is the Chiefs by 3. I'm gonna say the Chiefs by 7. I got a 38-31, and I think they score more points in this game than they do in the NFC. And I think Kansas City, they pull it out. They got the talent, they got the coaches, and they know a little more. They've been on the stage more than the Bills have, and I think that will be somewhat of an advantage. I like McDermott, but McDermott ain't been on this stage before, and I don't think I can confidently say he can out-coach Andy Reid at this stage. So that said, 38-31, Kansas City, book it.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat rare in a NFL game you'd want to put your pick on the solely on the health of one guy. But to me, all week that was my question. If Mahomes ain't gonna play, I'll take the Bills because I just as much as I liked what I saw from Chad Henne last week, Chad Henne in a full game against, this Josh Allen, who's, exceeding all levels of playoff expectations after, last season's forgettable mess in the wild card round. Got to give him credit. He's played well, and he's really done it without much of a running game. The Bills seemingly have kind of abandoned the run.
Right.
But I think, with Patrick Mahomes being healthy, as they announced that yesterday. I mean, that's a pretty open and shut case. As much as we like and respect this Bills team, and they've had a storybook season. I think it ends here. It's Andy Reid, it's Patrick Mahomes, and out of all four quarterbacks that are have reached this point, the only one that hasn't reached this moment is Josh Allen, and I think you're absolutely right about this Kansas City Chiefs defense being somewhat underrated. I mean, when you have when you have an offense that has your back like that, you just go out there and you just play and you play loose and free because you know that we made a mistake and we gave up a touchdown. Oh well, don't worry about it. I mean, they're about to score, so we'll get another shot at it. Um, you mentioned and just to put a bow on that, um, the Chiefs defense in 8 of the last 9 games has allowed 20 points or less. So when you think about that, I mean, the Chiefs offense. I mean, when are they not going to score 20 points? So
Right.
that's probably about the mark in this game. I don't. I think the Bills they'll beat 20 points in this game. But I think the Chiefs defense is good enough to get a stop here and there. Um, more so than I have confidence in the Bills defense to get stops. And I think, in the end, it's likely going to come down to who can execute a little bit better in the red zone. So I think both of these defense have a tendency to tighten up down there. And you
Right.
mentioned the two offensive minds and Bieniemy and Dable, and don't forget about these two defensive minds. You remember the Buffalo Bills, Leslie Frazier. He's a highly respected defensive mind. Coached the Minnesota Vikings
Former
years
head
ago.
coach. Yep.
And then Steve Spagnuolo. That was a tremendous hire by Andy Reid. I don't know if you remember, but the fella that coached that defense before was a fella by the name of Bob Sutton, and they should have called him Senator Sutton because this one of them fellas that just he been out coaching for just looked like he been coaching for about 50 years, and it's just time to go. Like you've been up there in the Senate chambers too long, you ain't done nothing. 6 months to pass one bill. I mean, get on out of here. So glad they went ahead and did it. And Steve Spagnuolo, he's got these guys playing well. A lot of
Right.
these guys are somewhat unknown. They don't have tremendous star power, but they do have Tyrann Mathieu, as you say. They do have Chris Jones, so they got a difference maker up front and a difference maker on the back end. And
Right.
the other guys, there's some unknown fellas, whether it's Damian Wilson, Anthony Hitchens, the list goes on and on. But they can do enough. And I think when you look at the last game, Kansas City ran for almost 250 yards. If Buffalo comes out, with the same game plan, the same mindset that we don't want to get beat over the top, does Andy Reid can he have the same level of patience? Because I think that type of performance it's not in Andy Reid's DNA to be that patient and run the ball 46 times to that degree of success. So I'm interested to see how will Leslie Frazier approach the game. Will he continue to try to protect over the top, and let Kansas City move the ball on the ground a little bit if they want. Um, so that's going to be fun to see if he changes up his strategy and how Andy Reid, runs his offense. But in the end, I'm glad Mahomes is going to be out there. I think it's a watered down matchup without him. I hope he's good to go. I think that's considering how he looked when he left the field. I think it's somewhat of a surprise that he's back this quickly and they announced it that early.
Mhm.
But it's good for all of us. In the end, I think it comes down to I'll take Patrick Mahomes over Josh Allen. I'll take Andy Reid over Sean McDermott. I think it's a close one. I think we'll see a fair amount of field goals. I think both defense will tighten up a little bit down there. But in the end, I like the Chiefs 30-27.